Victoria here, welcome back to our channel. When I did our tongue tie video, I realised how many people actually have the same situations but maybe don't talk about it. And when we found out about Isaac's torticollis, I had exactly the same thing. I didn't really know anyone that had had it before, or that had had to go for cranial osteopathy or anything like that. But actually, as soon as I started telling people, the amount of people that said, oh, we had to do exactly the same thing was ridiculous. So I thought it'd be useful if I made this video, talk you through the issues that we had, what we've done to resolve it, and where we're at now, so that if you're in the same position, here's just a bit of information that might be helpful to you. So when Isaac was, actually when I was pregnant, he was always really in one position. He kicked around a lot, but he didn't really move too much. He was head down from very early on. And they think actually from quite early he was probably resting on one side of his head, which meant that when he then went through a very quick, speedy delivery, that gave him a slightly flat head on one side. We're not so worried about that because that has actually, as he's grown, that's evened out a little bit. But the torticollis was this tightness in the neck that meant he had a preference to always have his head down like that. So whenever he went to sleep, he'd turn his head that way. If he was in his rocker, if he was in the car seat, everything, he'd immediately turn the head that way. I noticed it quite early on, so did Adam. We did some research. Obviously, we weren't able to see as many professionals about it as we would have liked to at the time, with being in a full lockdown. So we had to wait it out a little bit, and we just did all the different exercises that we could think of ourselves in order to make sure that we were getting him to turn his head a lot to the right. So things that we did early on were obviously constantly trying to put him down to sleep with his head turned to the right. If we noticed he'd put it back to the left, we'd just very gently twist it round and turn it back. Whenever he was playing or doing tummy time, we'd get some of his toys, things like this one, which is, as you can see, really good for grabbing his attention. And his preference is always still to look over here, and we do a lot of work just moving it round to the right and making sure that he had full capacity to turn his neck that way. So we did a lot of that, especially during tummy time. We also moved the car seat to the other side because he has a preference to look out of the window, and so we made sure that that was the window where we wanted his head to be, on that side rather than the other side. And all of these things just helped him gradually to obviously even out the flat head a little bit, because it gave the other side more time to grow. Woohoo! More time to grow. It gave the other side more time to grow. Yeah, it gave the neck muscles on the left-hand side, which was the side that he'd been turned to, they'd all become quite stiff. So it gave them the chance to ease out a little bit by constantly getting him to turn his head the other way. And we made some really good progress just doing that ourselves. But then we came to the end of lockdown, and I really wanted to see some professionals. So we went and saw our health visitor. If I'm honest, they weren't particularly helpful at all. They just sort of said it would get better in time. I did a little bit more research and went to see an osteopath about some cranial osteopathy for him. This was so useful. The girl we've been seeing has been really amazing. Isaac has had 3 sessions with her so far. I don't know if you can see, actually, he might do it, but there is still this preference to also, alongside holding his neck that way, he tends to tilt his head. She explained that the work that she was going to do is going to be very much towards releasing the tension of one side of the neck, and that he hadn't used the muscles very much. She agreed that there was a tendency to tilt the head and turn the head with preference to one side over the other, and that there was definitely work we could do to help that. So the first session, we did a little bit of work on it, but mainly just got to know each other and got to know the problem. In the second session and the third session, I took an expressed bottle of milk with me, and Isaac lay down and he had that bottle, which took the full half hour, and that meant the osteopath had loads of time to be able to actually work out all the tension in his neck and sort of the nape of his neck and leading into just the back of his head. She did a little bit of cranial on the first session, but we decided going forwards that the problems were mainly more in the neck, so that's where she has done that. So we're only on our third session now. We have one more session to go, and she thinks then, provided that the tension is still better when she sees him next time, that will be all we have to do. Yes! As long as the tension hasn't come back, that'll be all we have to do in the next session. So it will have been 4 sessions in total. He's got cream on his neck from where she was treating him today. But I just thought it'd be useful for anyone who's thinking about getting it. It's been a really easy experience. The osteopath has been amazing with Isaac. She's been really understanding and calm, and so yeah, don't be worried if that's something that you need to go and do. Definitely do go and check them out and see if they're able to help you. If it's something that happens to you, we're going to go and feed now. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and we will maybe do an update video in a couple of months' time. So yeah, take care, guys. Bye.